Okay, in this video I'm going over the main card of UFC 324. I'm very glad the UFC is back, and we're coming back with a stacked card for the start of the Paramount era, and I don't have to pay for this one, which I'm very happy about. I took a little break, but now I'm back. I'm very glad that the UFC is back because my brain was starving for some fucking fighting. So we'll start with Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva to kick off the main card. Very good fight to start. Main card opener, that's just going to be a brawl to the death between these two autistic freaks. But Gene Silva's going to win, I think. Gene Silva is just way better than Arnold Allen. And not to say Arnold Allen's competition hasn't been amazing as of his recent career, because it has. Movsar, Max Holloway. These are great names to fight. He did lose, but he arguably could have beat Movsar. I'm not going to lie. I thought he did win that fight on damage. So he has great competition, and if a couple things go his way, he's a top contender. But the thing about him, he gets injured a ton. He's had broken hands in the past. He's had weird, nifty things happen in fights. And he loves to scrap. He scrapped with Holloway hard. He loves to get into big brawls. And I think against Gene Silva, who's a fucking power puncher who likes that space and is comfortable in the striking space, is going to just be a huge problem for Arnold Allen all around. I don't think Arnold Allen's chin can hold up as well as Gene Silva's. Even though Gene Silva's coming off a knockout loss to Diego Lopez, Gene was looking really good in that fight. He was looking really good in that fight against Diego Lopez. And besides that fight, he was completely styling on every single person he fought, KOing them, submitting them, submitted Bryce Mitchell, which, love him or hate him, is a pretty good submission win to have on your record. Gene Silva is a finisher. He's very comfortable at fighting. He's coming in with a new attitude, a new alias called the Lord. It always was his nickname, but now he's going as it because he's autistic. And I get his whole shtick. But I think Gene Silva, it's just going to be too much. He's going to be too accurate. He's going to be landing shots. They're going to be powerful. When Arnold Allen lands, it's not going to get Gene Silva's attention. He's going to be playing his games like he usually does. And if you're not Diego Lopez, who has proven to be the, if Volk wasn't there, he's champion. And I think he's champion for a long time. And I think I'm honestly going to pick Diego Lopez to beat Volk in the rematch and be champion for a long time. Diego's no joke. He's number one contender for a reason. He's fighting for the belt again for a reason. Kind of a dumb thing that he's fighting for the belt again so soon. But the way he slimed out Gene Silva was very impressive. Even though Gene was looking very good in that second round, it was kind of starting to pull away on the feet against Diego Lopez. And that's why I'm picking Gene. He's a momentum fighter. He's very confident. He's been in the worst position he could possibly be, full mount, bleeding, getting beaten the fuck up by Diego Lopez, the best fighter in the division. And he was able to capitalize in the second round, get up out of that position, beat the shit out of Diego Lopez until he got chinned, to be honest. I think that's a lot more impressive than what Arnold Allen has been doing in his career as of late. And I think Gene Silva is going to be a mainstay at featherweight in the top three for a while. He's very good. I trust the Fighting Nerds hype to be kind of rejuvenated. All of them need one loss. Carlos had his one loss, and now he knocked out Leon Edwards. He's going on a run. I'm worried about Ruffy. I think Fiziev might take him out. But we'll wait till that card to discuss that. But yeah, I'm going to go with Gene Silva to win on the feet. Arnold Allen's not going to be able to take down Gene Silva. I think he'll get submitted there. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, Gene Silva, too powerful. And Arnold Allen has a great chin. But a lot of people have great chins. And Gene Silva puts him out. Mesek Bagdasarian has a good chin. He put him in the fuck out cold. So I'm going to go with Gene Silva to win by knockout in the second or third round after things get scrappy and Gene Silva stays comfortable and Arnold Allen starts to get overstimulated and he starts to freak out a little bit in his brain because I just feel like that would be a thing. I think the barking and stuff that Gene Silva gets his people to do, I think it actually like messes with his brain a little bit. Like I don't know. I get that vibe that Arnold Allen is annoyed by loud noises and stuff and bright lights. So yeah, I'm going to go with Gene Silva to win this one. Next, we have Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas instead of Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes, which was taken off this card. This is the girl fight on this card. And it's a good girl fight. It's pretty good. Natalia Silva is no joke. She's the most hyped up prospect in women's fighting right now, I would say. She's an incredibly good striker. She's on a come up. She's on a streak. She's a beast. And I'm going to pick her to win against Rose Namajunas. Rose is old. She's made way too many close decisions with people. She still wins and loses in like she's very hit or miss in her performances as of late, but she's getting chin more often. Not really. A lot of decisions, but she's been chinned before. And I just trust Natalia Silva to piece up Rose Namajunas at this point in her career. She's getting way older, as I said. Not in her prime. And Natalia Silva is, and she's on a run. She's beating the shit out of people. And I don't trust Rose Namajunas' grappling, really. I think she could probably get a takedown, but I trust Silva's athleticism to get back up. And there's not much to really go over in this fight, other than Rose is older, more weathered, has been getting beaten by top people. Natalia Silva has proven that she either deserves a title shot or is just the solidified number one contender and is a fucking monster in women's fighting. And I'm going to pick her to win against Rose Namajunas by decision, on the feet, piecing her up, maybe a knockout, probably not. If she does, it would be sick because it would put a lot of stock in her name and maybe make women's fighting interesting. But I don't think so. I think it'll be a decision. Rose is hard to finish, to be honest. Even though I just said that she's been finished a lot before, she is difficult to finish, and she hasn't been finished lately. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Natalia Silva to win by decision. Too young, too slick on the feet. She's a beast. She's kind of a different breed of striker for the any women's division. I think she's a new thing, a never before seen force. I think she should beat the shit out of Rose Namajunas. Rose will probably have success in the grappling a little bit, but I don't think it'll carry her to a decision, especially with these new Paramount rules. I'm thinking they're going to favor damage a lot more than grappling as things go forward. I think these champs like Islam, and not to say Islam isn't fun, he's usually fun, but performances like Jack Islam, Hamza Adrikas, Jilton Volkov, we already saw it in that fight. They're starting to be less favorable, or they're starting to favor grapplers a little bit less as time goes on. So yeah, I'm gonna go damage, and that's Natalia Silva. Next, we have Derek Lewis versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the one I bet money on. Don't usually bet money on fights at all, but this underdog pick is too good to not pick. I'm picking Derek Lewis to win, and I'm not just picking him because I'm betting on him. I think Derek Lewis is gonna win this fight. Waldo Cortez is very good. He's a knockout puncher, but he was really open in his last fight against Shamil Gaziev, and he got clipped by Gaziev and like kind of he gets clipped to throw back, and not to say Derek Lewis doesn't either, but when you're going blow for blow with, you can kind of afford to get away with it against Shamil Gaziev. You can't really afford to get away with it with Derek Lewis, and I think Derek is gonna find the shot to take him out. At this point, though, Waldo is a more technical striker. He's more in his prime. He's more on a run. He's been doing his thing. He's very active. All like technical signs point to Waldo Cortez to win. But I'm going to go with dumb retard power that Derek Lewis possesses because it's been working. And I can see it catching Waldo, and I think it's going to. Waldo had a like weird tit for tat performance against Sergey Pavlovich because Sergey's never been the same after the Tom Aspinall loss, so he's not willing to commit to shots as much, which isn't a bad loss whatsoever. Sergey's a power puncher, but I think the awkward just throwing like a tard of Derek Lewis is going to play an important role in this fight, and I think he's going to clip him. He did it to Talsa Teixeira, who was an up-and-coming guy, but he hadn't proven himself whatsoever in the division. But he clipped him out cold, 7 feet tall. Derek Lewis just needs one, and he's proven that his power's not going to get any worse. And I think it's going to happen in the first, and I'm confident that Derek Lewis can put out Waldo at this point. There's a point where Derek he'll be too old. He won't be able to hit a motherfucker as hard as he usually does, and they won't go out. But I'm not willing to bet that that's today. And I'm actually willing to bet $10 that Derek Lewis is going to knock out Waldo Cortez Acosta in this fight. So yeah, D. Lou's going to get it done. But obviously it's two big fat heavyweights with a ton of power, so it could go either way. I'm just going to pick with the punchers, with he has the most finishes in UFC history. That's got to count for something. Even though all actual like MMA technique sides, like signs of it, point to Waldo Cortez. But I don't really care about that in this prediction. It's heavyweight. I'm picking Derek Lewis to win by knockout. And I'm pretty confident. So yeah, next. Song Yadong versus Sean O'Malley. This one sucks for me. As a really big fan of both, I don't want to see these guys fight. It's going to be a great fight. And it's going to be a sick striking match, and they're going to trade blows, and it's going to be super fun. But I just really like both these fighters, and I didn't want to see them clash really, because there's matchups for O'Malley that would have been interesting, and I would have wanted him to really win and just put out the motherfucker in front of him, like Umar. Would have loved to see that fight. Same with Song Yadong. If they put Song Yadong in front of Umar, maybe I just don't like Umar. And I really hope Figgy wins, but I'm not picking Figgy. By the way, just as the prelim headliner, quick prediction: I'm picking Umar. But as for the prediction for this fight, even though I want both of them to win, I'm gonna go with Sean O'Malley to win by outstriking Song Yadong on the feet. He is just too slick, and if you're not a super insane power cardio hungry freak of a grappler like Marab, it's been proven that you're not gonna take out Sean. Peter Yan obviously had his performance against Sean. Very close. Very, very close decision. I think Peter could have pulled it off, obviously, and a lot of people feel the same way. But it's not to say that Sean wasn't in there and it was a close fucking fight for a reason. Sean's a beast. He can go 3 rounds. Went five. He can go 3 rounds very easily. He can take damage. He has a great chin. I don't think Song Yadong is gonna knock him out. It's not like he took damage in the Marab fights whatsoever. He pretty much just got cardio snuffed. And I don't think Song Yadong has the grappling to enforce that kind of pressure on Sean O'Malley as this fight goes on. I just don't think Song Yadong is that kind of guy. He's going to stand and trade. He's going to want to stand and trade. He'll probably mix in the grappling, but it's not going to be super effective. On the feet, though, Song has a lot of power. He could start to tag up Sean. But if Peter couldn't, if I guess Peter's the only other good fighter Sean O'Malley's ever fought. Really. Marlon Vera, I guess, but he's not super powerful. But Marlon did fucking barely. Did he? Yeah, he barely beat Song Yadong, which was kind of a weird situation because Song Yadong arguably won or something like that. Besides Marlon and Peter, Sean O'Malley hasn't fought anybody with any power, so you never know, he could get shinned. But I just don't think that's gonna happen. Sean has very slick striking. He's been the guy in the striking department at bantamweight, and his technique and the way he moves in and out and feints and has head movement when he's not afraid of the grappling, he really is in his element, and I think it's the best striking you can see out of a fighter in the UFC if he's not worried about the grappling. Sean O'Malley is peak like peak peak striking in the UFC. He's extremely good. He knows every in and out of the striking game, and he's willing to mix it up. Not in the grappling, but he can throw wheel kicks, he goes spinning back kicks. He's a freak in the striking. It's amazing to watch. It's very fun. And I think he's gonna piece up Song Yadong over 3 rounds. But the thing about Song is he's also very durable. He's made hard fights with a lot of hard competition, like Peter Yan, like Corey Sandhagen. He's not going to get finished. Song Yadong doesn't get finished. He has a very good chin. But I think Sean O'Malley's going to piece him apart, kind of like he did Cheeto. Kind of make Song miss, hit him on the outside. It'll get a little bit more gritty than Marlon because Song Yadong's a more pressure-heavy fighter than Marlon Vera, and actually throws punches instead of just like waddling forward while getting hit and then throwing one punch and missing and then getting lucky and knocking his opponent out, like Cheeto used to do and still does kind of. But yeah, O'Malley's gonna be too good on the feet. Song Yadong's not gonna be able to take in the mix up the grappling. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Sean O'Malley to win by decision. Sadly though, because I like Song Yadong a lot, but he's still young in his career, and I think with a little bit more time, I could see Song Yadong becoming a real contender for the belt. To be honest, once Peter's a little bit older, I could see Song Yadong stuffing Marab's takedowns. To be honest, and like kind of doing a similar performance as Peter Yan. I would pick Song Yadong to beat Marab. I think I really rate Song Yadong highly. I don't know. I don't know if many people would agree with me on that, but I do rate Song Yadong highly. But when it comes to striking, Sean O'Malley is the best in this division. So yeah, next the main event: Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. The main event for the interim lightweight title, excluding Arman Sarukian, which is really funny, and I don't really have a problem with it at all. I don't really like Arman Sarukian, even though he's been going on kind of a media tour run, which has made him look really good and really funny. I still prefer this fight, and I'm glad it's happening. But I'm going to pick Paddy Pimblett to win. Jump scare. I'm picking Paddy Pimblett to win over Justin Gaethje. Justin's a little bit too old. He's in, holy shit. He's taking a little bit too much damage. And Paddy Pimblett is a very effective striker and moreover effective grappler. He may not be the prettiest striker, but he lands shots. He might keep his chin really far up in the air, and Justin might be able to fucking cleave it off his head, which is really possible. And that's why I'm not the most confident in the Paddy Pimblett pick ever. But I just don't think it's going to happen. Justin Gaethje is known for his power, but at the same time, he hasn't been finishing opponents lately. He hasn't been finishing opponents, especially with punches lately. He finished Poirier with the high kick, but both the Fiziev wins, not finishes. He obviously died to Max Holloway. Obviously, didn't knock out Khabib. Didn't knock out Tony Ferguson. Most of his knockouts were really early in his career, and I think that's a bad thing going in there against a guy on a 7-fight win streak with a good chin in Paddy Pimblett. The scouts just don't get knocked out or whatever. I do think if Justin connects clean on Paddy's wide open chin, it will knock him out. I just don't think it'll get to that point. I don't think he's going to connect clean enough to chin Paddy. I think Paddy's going to start mixing in the grappling quicker than you think. And when it gets to that point, I think Paddy has the insane advantage of his jiu-jitsu. I think he's going to be able to take him down. I think he's going to be able to get to submission attempts. I think he's going to make that realm of the game look really easy against Justin Gaethje. And I know Gaethje has good wrestling, and he's been training with Kamaru his whole life. But it's just different against these like submission-heavy jiu-jitsu guys like Oliveira. He got smoked by Oliveira. It's just different. It's a little bit different. I think Paddy can catch him on the feet. I do think Gaethje's a better striker, and he'll have the advantage in that realm. But I also like Paddy's age. I like that he hasn't taken any damage in his career. He beat the shit out of Chandler, and Chandler and Gaethje had a fucking war in which both of them, another person Gaethje couldn't finish, by the way, and Paddy did, which is so weird to say. I know it's like a scuffed Chandler, but at the same time, Chandler had just fought Oliveira, took him all 5 rounds. Oliveira couldn't finish him, and Chandler almost finished Oliveira in the 5th round in that fight. So for Paddy to do what he did to Chandler the very next fight is very impressive to me. And I just think Gaethje's been kind of on a, besides the Fiziev loss, or the Fiziev wins, which were on short notice, he just hasn't been doing, like, he hasn't had a good career as of late. The Max Holloway KO and such, I think he's too damaged. I think he's going to be too old as of right now. And I think Paddy's momentum is going to carry him to a victory over Justin Gaethje. Sorry if that got rambly. I'm really tired. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett to win. I think he's going to be able to submit Gaethje in the 2nd or 3rd round. He's going to trade for a little bit. I think he's going to resort to grappling quick once he feels a punch from Gaethje. He's like, oh shit, that was pretty powerful. I keep my chin way too far up in the fucking air for this. And he's going to shoot a takedown. He's going to get it. He's going to take him down. He's going to lay on top of him in the 1st round. Do the same thing in the 2nd. After some struggles on the feet again. But this time he's going to submit him. Or hit ground and pound and end up in a submission. So yeah, I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett to win. I think he's going to be too dynamic in the grappling for Justin Gaethje. Gaethje's pretty dumb in the grappling. So yeah, Paddy Pimblett to win. I don't really care who wins this one. It's better for the sport if Paddy wins because we can get the Ilya super fight and stuff. But I don't hate Gaethje whatsoever. I think he's super fun to watch. So if he ends up winning, then that's okay with me. But I think Paddy's going to get it done. Paddy the baddie. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'll see you soon.